Hey guys, welcome to Isaiah's Reviews, and today we'll be reviewing a 3-axis gimbal for your action cam, primarily your GoPros, but this will work with other action cams as well. And you can also buy an adapter for it, and it'll work with your RXO, so happy for you. And here's the packaging, and it's the FeiyuTech G6. This is, I'll tell you up front, this is 90% perfection. 90% perfection. So it's missing 10%. Some of that 10% can be fixed through an update. The other, I think, will have to be addressed on the G7 model. But still, I'll tell you up front, hands down, the best 3-axis gimbal for your action cam, especially your GoPros and stuff. It's the best that's available right now for 3-axis gimbal. And let's get into this. This is the box. You do get a nice little love letter envelope with the manual inside, which you will refer to, believe me, whenever you're going through some of the settings and things like that. That's a good thing to go through, and whenever you want to calibrate, you'll need that. And this awesome case, which looks fantastic. It's not some kind of cheesy one-off, one solid thing that's made for a bunch of other people. It's made just specifically for FeiyuTech, and it looks good, it feels good, it feels very premium in the hand. Everything about this feels great. So kudos, thank you for making this great product. I have the G5, and this is hands down leaps and bounds better over that. Now on the inside, you'll notice a nice little nesting case for your G6. It's really secure in here, it's form-fitting, it's made for this. You can also put your GoPro batteries or action cam batteries in here. I added these right here. Normally I think this was originally a part battery. You can unscrew this, have the battery and the charger and different things like that in here. It was homes for all this stuff, but of course you're just gonna combine it together. And I made battery holders for it, so that's awesome. So I can carry 3 batteries in here, including the one that's in the camera. In the little black box that you saw, you do get this micro SD to USB type C connector right here. We'll get to what that goes to later. A little backup set of screws, and these are for the bracket that holds your action cam. And then you get a charging cable for the 3-axis gimbal. But no wall adapter, you have to supply that. That's common with everything because everybody has cell phones. Now we'll jump into the jewel itself. And by the way, if you don't have one of these little lens caps for your GoPro, you should buy one, like a couple bucks for a few of those, and worth every penny about making your little lens smudge free. Before we turn it on, let's just go over some little things with it that I like. Right here you have your thread for your accessory mount thread. It's like a 1/4 thread that all accessories kind of use. So you can mount a light, you can mount an arm off this, a light, an external recorder, what have you. You can mount this here, and it has that little hole there to help stick that into place. You know what I'm talking about, the little hole next to where you got it. So beautiful work there, like that. You've got a USB port that's covered here. It's a rubber port, and then another port up here, which is what the short cable will go to. And this is a charging port on the back. So see right there, this is a little charger port right there that can charge your GoPro while you're using it with that short cable. And this is a micro USB to C right here. So C will go into the GoPro. So you do get that with it. Good job. And this is splash proof. Kind of, if you're in the rain, then you can be okay, but don't throw it in the water, don't submerge it, don't do anything crazy. Protect it, but just know in the back of your mind that it can handle some rain. So keep that in mind. You'll loosen this little nut right here, and this will slide to balance because you want to keep the balance perfect whenever it's not on. It's got a nice textured grip right across here, which is very, very nice. I mean, it just feels good. It doesn't feel like you're grabbing a piece of metal. It just feels like you're grabbing a nice grip, a nice comfy grip. And I am oohing and ahhing over this thing because finally. You know, you don't, I think the first night I got it, I took a nap with it just so we could bond, and I knew that this would be in my life for a while. It will turn all the time like this, every axis will just keep turning, except for this one. See, that one will stop itself, but all the rest, the other two, will just keep going. Now let's go ahead and turn it on. You just hold down your mode power button right there, hold it down, and the cool thing is, I'm gonna show you, let me get out of the way. Now when you hold the mode button down, see that? It gradually fills up to turn on, so that you're not gonna accidentally, you know, do it, brush up against it, turn it on while it's in your bag or something like that. So that is a good thing. And while we're here, this is the record. And why would it have a record button? It's because it can connect to your GoPro via Wi-Fi and the RXO. And you do get the all-going joystick. So it's not up, down, left, right only. You can go everywhere in between. And on the back of the unit, you do get your double tap to return to home or set itself back to 0. Hold it down to lock it in position while you're using it. And then this cool new thing here, you can toggle left or right of this, and what that will do is tilt. So you'll tilt and it will hold its tilt position while you go. So whatever you want to use that for, you have that option to do it. And then I'm going to double click on that and it will return right back. Now this positioning here is the default positioning, and it's upside down, right? It's normally not supposed to be like that, but you can turn it like that and it'll set itself to this position here, which is how they recommend it in the manual to be used, is lens side up, because you can slide it in and out that way. And yeah, but you can put this however you want. If you want the lens closer to over here, you can do that. You can just play around with it. But yeah, those are your options. You'll be notified of what's going on with the gimbal. You know what mode you're in by looking at it. You know if you're connected to your GoPro or not by the symbol being here and not crossed out. You know if you're connected via Wi-Fi to the GoPro here. You know if you're connected via Bluetooth. And it also has a battery indicator bar down there. So that is a thing of beauty. No more guessing, no more wondering what mode you're in. You know right here off the screen. So that's a great thing. And also to charge the gimbal for the first time, which is something you're going to do whenever you take it out of the box for the first time, is on the micro USB port on the side. Let's go over the tapping functions here, and we will get into the application last, the icing on the cake outside the mechanics, but a lot of people want to see what the gimbal's up to first. So you got the single tap, which is the panning lock mode, which you can get to by single pressing the button on the back and holding it down. It's just going to lock it into position, and it does that really well. So no issues. Sound silent on my end. So you can double tap the mode button on the back here with your thumb, 1, 2, and that'll put you into follow mode, so that no matter where you point your gimbal, this is where this would go. And you can change the different settings for the gimbal in the app too. Some of the things you can do in the app that you can't do in the gimbal is change the modes for this, like a smooth, sport, and normal or whatever. And I have it on smooth for like a cinematic kind of feel. Anytime you hit the front button with your finger twice to reset to 0, you'll come back out of the mode that you were in and go to the default mode, which is turn left or right and it will turn with you, turn up or down and it will stay locked forward. So now I want to triple tap the back with my thumb here, the mode button, 1, 2, 3, and it will spin around for me for selfie mode. So now I can be completely in selfie mode. If I want to adjust it too, by the way, I can just do it with the joystick, and I am in smooth, and I have all the adjustments for the gimbal and stuff slowed down all the way, so it's not going to move that fast. Then again, double tap with the finger to go right back around to 0. And this is where you get into the special features of the device, which are pretty cool. You can quadruple press the mode button, and then that will put you into something that you need the app for. But I'll go ahead and cover what this is doing, and I'll bring it back up again into the app. But you can press it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're into this auto rotation mode. So if you're doing time lapse in the app, you'll set up how long you want it to go from A to B. And now we're going to set up A to B positioning here. So you actually physically take it. Don't leave it sitting on a desk and then try to adjust it, because the minute you accidentally pick it up, this gimbal's going to spin around like crazy. So keep it in your hand if you can, and then or on a stand, but keep pressure down onto the stand. But move it if you want to. We'll move it down here, and then we'll press it once on the mode, and it'll register point A. And no matter where you go next, we'll tilt it back up or something like this, over toward me. And then the minute I press it again, it's going to register this position, go to A, and then go for the time amount that you have set in the app. So if you have 30 seconds for it to get to position B from A to B, if you have an hour, if you have 8 hours for it, it'll do that and allow you to have time lapse going on too on your phone or in your camera, action camera, which is nice. So I'll go ahead, I have it set for 30 seconds. I'll go ahead and push it again. And then now it's going to go to position A, and it's going to automatically now go to B within 30 seconds. Nice and smooth too. And it follows your motions. It like records your motions for getting to that position, which was cool. And ta-da, we're there. And then you just double click to reset, and then go on about your business to whatever next mode you want to be in. So that was really cool. For whatever reason your horizon is off and out of whack, you can press it 5 times. And then after you do it, let me turn this off, because I'm not going to do it with my hand. But let me turn it off. When you turn it off, you press it, the bars will gradually go out, and then boom, it reaches the borders, the corners, and then it shuts itself off. But you'll press it 5 times, and then you'll lay it down flat like this into initialize mode, and it'll initialize itself to kind of calibrate that way. So it's in the manual. Just so you know, that's what it looks like here. Whenever it's connected to the GoPro, this little camera symbol and the Wi-Fi symbol are not crossed out. I'm not connected to my phone yet, so you see the Bluetooth symbol is crossed out. So now I'm going to hold this settings button down, and then the little bars will fill up. Pulls up what shooting mode I'm in. I'm in 2.7K. I'm in linear mode, 60 frames per second. I can toggle up or down to change the resolution. Joystick to the right to go out of linear mode to go to something like medium or wide or whatever it is. And then to the right again, change my frames per second, go to the right to OK. And now to register this to my device, I just simply go over to the right. And that will pass through the OK, and that will go to the camera. And to get out of this settings screen, you can just simply tap the settings button and you'll go back to your home screen. But if you have your GoPro in the mode where you're just going to power it on and off via the record, and when you press, it'll come on and start recording. You press it again, it'll stop recording and just shut the camera off. This will connect to it for a little while and then disconnect. You'll actually physically turn the GoPro on through the mode button on the side. Then you can actually get in and change the settings. All right, so now you're going to download the Feiyu On app. So once you get into the application itself, you'll need to go to Gimbal for action cameras, select G6, and then connected gimbals. You want to hit connected gimbal down at the bottom, that symbol, and pick your gimbal. Whenever you do that, you'll go right into the application for the G6. You'll notice the joystick at the top, and you can move your camera here on your gimbal from the joystick by going up. It'll go up, down, it'll go down. Here's one of the 10% problems that they can fix via an update. Whenever you go up to the right or something like that, like you're trying to pan it at an angle, I'm going to pan it at an angle now, and it up and it goes down to the right slowly. Downward angle instead of upward angle where I'm measuring or where I'm pointing. And then when I go down and to the left, it'll go up. So if you're going to go up and actually go up, but when I go at an angle, it'll go down. So they can change that. Pretty simple. And they also have the tilt across the top like that. And you can also have a restoration button here where you can reset this to 0 from the app. So that's cool. So you can set this on a little tripod that you can screw on the bottom. It does have a quarter screw down at the bottom, so you can set this to tripods and things. But you can use this to get some smooth fluid, and I have it in smooth mode anyway, so it's kind of going to go smooth. So you can take your hand bounce out of the equation and have this mounted onto something and adjust it from a distance. So that's nice, and you can select your modes. You can lock, course to follow, and all to follow, which all follow is where you go up or down, and it's AF on here is all follow. You have your settings, you have your GoPro. I can see that I'm connected to the GoPro across the top, and whenever I select that, it gives me select camera, GoPro, or RXO. If I go into GoPro, you currently are connected. Do you want to reconnect? No, I don't, but this is where you'll go in and connect. So basically you put your GoPro in to the Wi-Fi settings as if you were going to connect your phone to it. Don't have your phone connected to it, disconnect that, and then you'll go into the Wi-Fi settings of the GoPro, act like you're going to connect it to your phone, and then you go into this setting just right at the top of the app, and then that's where you'll connect. You'll select GoPro, and then you'll put in the login and password from the GoPro that you'll get into this. So it's super simple. It explains itself as you go. And you do have a tutorials button down here at the bottom right, and that carries you over to YouTube video reviews, which they don't have anything for this, but it's cool that they offer links and a complete section of their YouTube videos for tutorials. You can go into settings. This is where we get pretty cool stuff. Let me set this down. You got your firmware. Now when you first get it, you want to go into your firmware, check it, query update, latest version, okay. Keyboard upgrade, you want to check it, and it takes a while. You have motor dynamics. You can go in and change dynamics for each individual motor. You can min and max those numbers out. This is another problem I have with it. So we have problem number 2, which is a percent. So now we're down to 8% left that we don't know about, but 2% that we do. Issues, which I think they can address and fix, should be able to, is that when you go into something, you have to go into it twice. Like it'll fail and you have to hit retry. But you see here on the graph of each motor that you can adjust those motors independently and hit save at the top. Then you have joystick settings. Go into that. Reading parameters. It could fail. It could go right in. It went right into it. How about that? Great. Then you have your panning speed, tilting speed, and then your panning reverse and tilting reverse. And you hit save if you want that. Horizontal calibration. You can do like offsets here. So that's nice to have horizontal calibration options within the app. Good thing. This is the auto rotation that we talked about earlier. Whenever you click 4 times on the mode button, and then you're going to select an A point and a B point, and the time it takes to go is here under this auto rotation app. And if you're lost, you probably will be lost the first time you use it, because I'm kind of scanning over this, but you'll select the panning time frames there. You actually select the 30 seconds to turn, or the actual time it says to turn, to adjust each. But the operation guide is fantastic that they put in for the auto rotation. You select that, and it has the your how to use the app for it, and then you select the gimbal at the top, and it shows you step by step exactly how to use the gimbal, and it all clicks and makes sense, because I was a little confused for a minute. Then at the bottom, you can restore device default. And that's pretty much the app in a nutshell. Pretty simple, straightforward, connects pretty quick. The only problem is when you're going into each individual setting, you'll have to retry that like twice sometimes. So work on that, whatever issue that is. Okay, so now the 8% issue that I have, whenever you take this and turn it here, like just turn it right there, you get this grind from right in here. I think that's where it's coming from. I feel that. But that will transfer over to the footage and the audio. Ready? Hear that? And I don't know if it's the weight of the lens or something on this side, but it's just too much of a distance, I think, between here, and there's too much weight for this to handle, for something in here to handle that, and it grinds. And whenever you switch it over to this side, it won't allow you, see, it's like hitting a wall. It kicks it over. So you're limited with your range from here to here. And then that's kind of it. That's your swing. So whatever degree this is, I don't know what degree that is, but you're limited right there. Everywhere else, like flashlight mode, straight down, look around. But even when you're in flashlight mode now, you're going to run into that degree that you run into here if you go too far. So make sure to allow your camera to catch up with you, because I'm in smooth mode. And that's another thing on the application that I missed, is you can go into sport mode, smooth mode, and normal mode. Sport mode is nice. It's nice and quick and responsive. It's not as fast as some other gimbals, but it eases in and out of those directions really nice. Smooth, nice and cinematic feel, which I like. Personally, I like that. And then normal is just your typical, it feels just like a gimbal when you grab it. But everything about this, except for this is the 8% problem. They're only going to be able to address this with an update, with a G7 or something like that. There's nothing that they can do, so you're left with 8% from perfection. But you're still the best, in my eyes, on the market as far as GoPro goes. As long as you know your limitations, you're okay. But it's going to suck, though, whenever you're right there in that moment. You're like, ooh, I got it. It's perfect. It's going so great. And then it kicks. It grinds and it kicks and it does something like that. You see it flipped over. And bring it back like that. But and then you're left with, God. So the limitations on this, change that. Everything else is great. It's probably bigger than 8%, but I can live with it. I figured out how to do that. And for everything that you get, it's a great product. So I went to a family get together, grabbed the nieces, like, here, you know, take it, go. And they know how to do it. We're living in a time and age where everybody knows how to use a 3-axis gimbal. Isn't that correct? It's just second nature now. And we know what clicks and what the standards for things are now. And as long as the manufacturers follow the standard and don't go out of this crazy world where you got 15 clicks to get it to spin around to you, something like that, you know, it just feels natural. So FeiyuTech has been doing this long enough that I think they've implemented things where other people maybe have copied, and that they've carried on from camera or from gimbal to gimbal. So when you do get it, everything just sticks and feels really natural. So there was no real big learning curve for it. Hey, this is an audio test for this to see if you hear any gimbal noise. Apparently we're going to hear this god-awful bird, but this is an audio test to see if it may be a little hazy because I did walk outside, but I want to see if you can shut up. If you hear any of the grinding, I am going to turn it to the side, and I'll let you know when I do to hear the unwanted gimbal grind that we have. But I just want to see how well the audio picks up if you hear these gimbals. I've got these gimbals, but I am rotating it away from me to see if this gear picks up. I'm going to go left and right with the bottom. I'm going to turn. I'm going to put you in to lock mode somehow. Here we go. I'm going to turn the bottom, turn it left and right to see if you hear any grind. And I'm also I'm going to do the dreaded grind. Let's see, here we go. And there I feel the grind. Does it transfer into the audio? And then the other side, here's where it hits. See how the footage would kick? Kind of hits right there. So you're going, I'm just going like at a 45 or maybe a 60-degree angle or something, maybe more than that, to the side, and you just hear the grind, and it will kick to the other side. So you do have the limitations of it, but once you learn the limitations and it registers in your brain that you're not going to make this mistake, it's a great gimbal. Swing you around in smooth mode, by the way. Smooth is silky, buttery smooth, right? Oh yeah. Make sure to explode on that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get notified on the next product review that I have coming. And next month is going to be fantastic. I'm going to have external help coming in to help me film this thing. And I've got plenty of things to do for the rest of the year. So, yeah. See ya.